It's like Christmas every day.
Are you mismanaging or pissing away very valuable relationships?
They sell everything to us and they won't buy our corn.
I won't bullshit you, so don't bullshit me. Secretary of Commerce Howard Lutnick, welcome to the Axios Show.
Nice to be here with you.
So, Secretary, I want to have a real conversation. I'm going to be blunt. I hope you'll be blunt. I won't bullshit you, so don't bullshit me. Fair?
Sounds fine.
So, Secretary, you have a rare lens on power. What's a moment or an instance where you saw the president reading the room?
So we had the Japanese, right? So the Japanese trade team is in the Oval Office, and he decides, okay, I'm going to be the closer.
An audible.
Right? So he's the closer. So we're sitting on this side of, on this side of the desk is me, the trade minister, you have Marco Rubio, you have Scott Bessent, right? And you have all these trade guys from Japan. And the president's on the other side of the desk, and he's got this chart, and he's marking up the chart, and he's literally negotiating the terms. The next meeting is with Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House, and he's got a couple of House members with him. And the president sees him and says, oh, come on in, come on. You got to watch this. And so he brings in, the leadership of the House.
A deal as performance art.
The deal as performance art. And that puts so much pressure on the Japanese. It was literally a masterclass of both negotiating and the art of negotiating. By bringing these people in, it changed the room. You can feel the power of the president rise. And that's hard to do because he is darn powerful just at the beginning.
The administration has made some deals that have surprised some people. You took a stake in Intel. You had the golden share arrangement with U.S. Steel. You're taking a cut of NVIDIA chip sales to China. Why are you taking that approach?
Well, let's do Intel for a minute. So the Biden administration gave GAVE, $11 billion to Intel, a $110 billion company. Why are we giving a company, giving them $11 billion? It's like Christmas every day. So what we said is stop. You can have the money, but America should have equity in exchange for that. Why are we giving corporate handouts? It makes no sense. So we basically turned that $11 billion gift into an $11 billion acquisition of equity.
So you're making the argument for the hand of government. People call it command capitalism. Do you expect more deals like that?
It's not command capitalism. It's fair to America if you're giving away the money. Why? If we never gave Intel any money, I don't want to stake in Intel. But if I'm going to give them, my predecessor gave them, signed contracts to give them $11 billion. My job is to make a better deal for the American taxpayer. So I think if we're going to give people money, here's my example. If we're going to give scientists NIH grants, give them money. If I give them $50 million, the US government gives someone $50 million, and let's say they invent a drug, a patented drug, and it's worth $50 million. Just wait a second. And it's worth $50 million. So it's break even. Why did they make the 50 and we lost 50? We should get our money back and participate.
I get the case.
Fair. And if you don't like the case, then you're spending $2 trillion deficit, and President Trump's going to say, if we give away the money, we're going to get something for it. Fair is who Donald Trump is.
If that's the model, who's next? What other types of deals like this can you see?
I think universities who are getting all this money. The scientists get the patents, the universities get the patents, and the funder of $50 billion, the US government, you know what we get? Zero. It's time that we should, don't you think we should get, if we, in business, if I gave them half the money, if I gave them 100% of their money, I would get half the profits with the scientists. So I think if we fund it and they invent a patent, the United States of America taxpayer should get half the benefit. Half the benefit. And then what will happen is our Social Security system will be paid for. And we won't be a broke country. running $2 trillion deficits because we're the richest country in the world. We're just dopey. Do you realize we give away between $200 and $300 billion a year in grants?
No, the IP in these universities is incredibly valuable. How quickly do you see implementing that, the U.S. getting half the benefit, every university across the country, or this is deal by deal?
If we give them money, the value that they create with that money
So there'll be,
should be
shared. A blanket formula, or how do you see
A
it?
blanket formula. It makes sense. It's fair. If we're paying for the research, if we're paying for the lab, if it's our money, the American taxpayers' money, the American taxpayer should be a partner in the upside. We're happy the scientist makes money. We're happy the university makes money. But why isn't the American taxpayer at the table?
No,
why is the American taxpayer just the foolish payer while these scientists make money, the universities make money, and America gets a big fat goose egg? It just feels wrong. And after I've just said it, I think everyone who's watching this is going to think, well, that's wrong. America should participate. How do we not get our money back? That's insane.
That's super interesting. How quickly do you expect to move on this, and how hard will you fight on it?
I think I'm going to I sent a letter to Harvard last week. I'm going to send letters to the California system this
But
week.
any university that gets federal money should be expecting a letter.
And I think we should get a deal done with the leading universities that says this is fair. And I think the president's going to drive that type. I've been talking to the president about. We've been exactly talking about this. That seems fair to us.
But is it a
We get
master
half.
deal or a template, or it's university by university?
I think it'll be a few universities to start, and then it'll become a master deal.
The ICE raid at the EV battery plant in Georgia has some manufacturers worried. Of course, a big part of the president's agenda was trying to convince foreign companies to make direct investment in the United States. Is this a new risk they face?
Well, it was kind of silly, right? We like that Hyundai's building a plant. That's great, right? They should get the proper visa for their workers. Come on, get a work visa. What they did is they came in on tourist visas, and then they're just working in this plant. I mean, so Hyundai, who's a total grown-up, more than capable of getting them the proper visa, should have gotten them the proper visa. So it's just wrong of them to have gotten the wrong, they should have gotten the right visas. You can't, ICE has got to do its job, right? And if there are all these people who are in this country on the wrong visa, change it.
But
the
does
fact
ICE
is, they'll fix that. Hyundai will fix it, and they'll do it right. But come on, get the right visa. Come on, Hyundai. Just do the right process. You knew better than that.
But does ICE doing their job make your job harder to get the foreign investment?
No, I called up the Koreans. I said, oh, give me a break. Get the right visa. And if you're having problems getting the right visa, call me. I'll call Christy Noem. We'll help you get the right visa. But don't do it the wrong way. You can't do things the old way. Donald Trump requires you to do it correctly. You want to immigrate, you want to bring workers here, go through the right process. You can't skirt the rules anymore. That is over.
Secretary, I understand the president is looking closely at prescription drug prices. What are you and the president considering doing in that area?
Well, the president is very focused on MFN. Why is it that we pay such a high price?
That's
And then
most
all
favored
these
nation.
Most favored nation. So what happens is Americans pay a high price for drugs, and then the rest of the world pays barely above marginal cost. Let's say it costs $10 to make a pill. The other countries say, I'll give you $15. And we're paying $100. And our insurance companies, just the costs in America are insane. So he's saying, look, if we can get the rest of the world to pay more, we can pay less. And it works out fine.
So in Axios fashion, what would you watch for? What are you going to do? Or what is the president considering?
The president's going to say that you drug manufacturers cannot sell here unless you sell there at a higher price. Stop being willing to sell to them at such a low price.
How soon do you expect that to happen?
I think that's a this year thing. I mean, he's on it now. And if he drives down these prices, that's $1 trillion of expense to the U.S. economy, both to the government and Medicaid and Medicare, and to the individual people of our country. And so who would take this on? I mean, this has been a problem for 30 years. Why is it that the president, Donald Trump, takes it on? It's because he's got the guts to take it on, and he understands it. That's why I said it. That's his instinct. That's his intuition to say, why do we pay so much more for drugs? And then as he learns it, he says, all right, let's go change it. And that is what's amazing about working at this administration. Taking on the most difficult problems that have been sort of sitting there, staring us in the face for 30 years. Finally, someone's willing to take it on for the American people. And that's why I'm so proud to work for him, because he's tough. Imagine getting in the room with all these pharmaceutical guys. I mean, they're great American companies, but they sell for $1,000 here and $200 overseas. Come on, that's got to change. Let's get them all to $500, and we're all better off.
So he's going to be tough with those companies.
Oh boy, is he going to be tough?
What do you mean by that?
Means if whatever you're imagining how tough he's going to be, it's going to be factors higher than that. He is going to get it done. And he was talking to me about it this weekend, meaning driving down the cost of domestic prices of pharmaceutical drugs, not generic drugs. Right. These are the branded drugs. You know, your cancer drug. I had cancer. I had non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, and the drug price that I paid. I mean, look, you want to buy it because it saves your life, but the price of it is so much higher than the rest of the world pays. Why? Same drug, it should be fair. It should be the same price across the world. We all have the same price. Americans' prices will be lower, probably by half or more. And the president was talking about this all day on Saturday. All day on Saturday, he was talking about we got to drive these prices down. I mean, that's what Donald Trump does. He's on these topics, hard and strong.
And what pushed that to the top of his agenda?
Oh, I don't know. I just get the phone calls.
Well, but he gets, I have a boss, when he gets hopped up about something, I usually know why. Like what precipitated this Saturday conversation?
I just got the call from Bobby Kennedy. I got a call from Mehmet Oz and said, okay, let's get to work on this.
So they're mobilizing across the administration.
He just wants it done sooner, right? They're on it already. But when is it going to come? And he is a relentless leader to get the job done, and it's impressive.
And so,
I'll tell you what, it's impressive.
You think we're going to hear about this within weeks? Weeks, not months.
I do.
When it's not always raining, there'll be days like this. When there's no one complaining,
You're good to me.
there'll be days like this. My mama told
This way is
me
way faster.
there'll be days like this.
The reality is that the economic bricks, hiring, inflation, how people feel, are piling up on the wrong side of the scale. Inflation.
Oh, I think they're piling up on the right side, actually.
Wait, you want inflation in August ticking up to 4.3%, the highest since 21? Manufacturing activity shrank in August, 6 months running, unemployed workers exceeding job openings. If Biden had numbers like that, you'd be on Fox saying, what's going on?
So the economy that Donald Trump owns starts at the end of this year. You can't
doesn't work that way.
Well, wait.
January 20th was day one.
Build factories and get permits and begin in an hour. You just can't. And the scale by which these companies are committed to building factories in America is unprecedented. So the jobs are coming, the factories are coming. We know the cavalry is coming. You know it. You can hear the thunder of the hooves coming. And anybody who worries today is worried incorrectly, looking in the wrong direction, right? We have earned $500 billion a year in tariff revenues. Do you know what we'd have to have done to our people to raise taxes for $500 billion? You'll see. Inflation is going to come down going forward because tariffs are not inflationary. A one-time tick up on certain products is not inflation. It's a one-time tick up in certain products. And we are going to be reducing prices going forward. The president just signed EOs that give us the ability to lower coffee and cocoa, to start doing the trade deals and driving these prices down. Letting Donald Trump execute his plan is the greatest thing America will have, because it will drive the golden age for us.
So the cavalry is coming, but lots of Americans, including lots of Trump voters, aren't feeling it. What do you say to them?
Look at the energy prices. Energy prices are coming down. And when we build that LNG plant, they will come down further and further still. And that's money in their pocket. Tax cuts, no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security. That's money in their pocket, right? And then the president has been clear. Interest rates need to come down. Let's get the cost of housing down and get mortgages cheaper and get money in the hands of Americans. If Donald Trump can deliver on his promises, which he plans to do, he is delivering. As he delivers, these people will have more money in their pocket, they'll be happier, the factories will be built, and employment will be smashing down. And the employment is coming down, grabbing the 6.9 million work-capable Americans and getting them back in the workforce. That's something no one talks about, bringing these people back into the workforce.
Secretary, you don't think it's going to happen, but the Supreme Court could well strike down the president's Liberation Day tariffs. And I recognize that you say the president has a lot of other authorities and tools he can use. But if the Supreme Court voids those tariffs, the signal to the world will be that the president overstepped.
So if you go and look at the dissent, right, it was 7-4 in the lower court. The four who sided with the president, Chief Justice, the former Chief Justice, the incoming Chief Justice.
So you don't think it's going to happen?
And the smartest guy on the bench. If you go read that dissent, you will see that is the proper answer. These were left-wing and non-tariff people, and the people who think sided with the president. I think the president wins either 5-4 or 6-3, because the foreign policy of the United States of America and the ability to fix this emergency needs to be in the hands of the gentleman in the Oval Office, and that is vital for America. It would just pull the rug out from America, and that would be something the Supreme Court is just not going to do.
All right, in the very unlikely event that you're wrong, what is the contingency plan? You'd have to refund these tariffs? How the hell does that work?
You know, to think about silly things is a waste of time. The Supreme Court is
Well,
going to stick
contingency
with
plans
it, and we
isn't
have
silly.
lots of other authorities that we can use to put them in place. We will use other authorities to put them in place. And I just want to point out, all of the deals that I've done, the Japan deal, the Europe deal, they are focused on something called a 232, a different kind of tariff. Those have been already tested by all the courts. They're already durable, and those are not going anywhere. So all those big deals that we did that are centered upon those products, those are durable, sustainable, and they are not really what I expect to be even benefited or not benefited by the Supreme Court. But I am supremely confident the Supreme Court will side with him. And that's the right way to say it. Supremely confident in the Supreme Court. I like it. That was good. It was very punny.
India's a good example. So an important ally, Canada, Brazil, these are all very important allies. Are you mismanaging or pissing away very valuable relationships?
The relationship is one way. They sell to us and take advantage of us. They block us from their economy, and they sell to us while we are wide open for them to come in and take advantage. The president says fair and reciprocal trade. Why?
But you're paying a big price, though, with those particular allies.
How are we paying a big price? We can't. India brags that they have 1.4 billion people. Why won't their 1.4 billion people buy 1 bushel of U.S. corn? Doesn't that rub you the wrong way? That they sell everything to us and they won't buy our corn? They put tariffs on everything. So the president says, bring down your tariffs. Treat us the way we treat you. Now, we've got to right years of wrong, so we want a tariff going the other way until we fix this, right? That's the president's model, and you either accept it or you're going to have a tough time doing business with the world's greatest consumer.
During the campaign, you and Elon Musk talked about slashing government waste, cutting costs. What's your current thinking about Doge now that Elon Musk is gone from the White House?
I thought Elon got caught up in other people's objectives, right? I mean, the people who work at the government, fine. The government, I'm sure, could be 10% smaller. I'm sure it could be 15% smaller. And let the cabinet secretaries go in, study their place, and make the proper cuts.
So he was hasty and overbearing.
Well, I wouldn't say hasty and overbearing. His Twitter example, where he was able to cut 80% of the people out, right? He thought that example worked for government. And my view was that the real money of government is the spending and the waste, fraud, and abuse of government. I mean, think about this building. The Biden crowd before me, had sent $7.4 billion to some brand new make-believe not-for-profit to give out money. $7.4 billion should be wired out of the Department of Commerce to this thing called NatCast, which didn't exist, which was made up as some not-for-profit, staffed with all these Biden officials, and then trying to get $7.4 billion out. That's what I call waste, fraud, and abuse. We ended it. We kept it in the government. But, that's how you make big money. You know how many people would equal $7.4 billion? Come on. The focus should have been on cutting the waste, fraud, and abuse. And the people you could do over time. I thought he got that backward. I talked to him a lot about it. And, waste, fraud, and abuse, Doge is still pursuing that waste, fraud, and abuse. And I think it will be effective, less effective than I would have hoped. But I think it's still going to be effective in cutting the waste, fraud, and abuse.
I'm sure the president shares this view since you're saying it here. So you're saying that there's going to be more of a focus on cutting dollars as opposed to cutting government workers.
I think so.
A lot of Americans are existentially worried about the effect of AI on jobs, particularly entry-level, white-collar jobs. Are they right?
No. They should be psyched. Advanced manufacturing coming back to America will create so much opportunity. Technical jobs, right? Right now, the iPhone is made in China because there's 1 million workers who are technically doing the work, okay? The 1 million workers technically doing the work. iPhone says they're going to move it also to India. Why? Because there's 1 million workers who could technically do the work. When a robotic arm, and you've seen like a modern auto plant, right? There's lots of automation, but there's 3,000 technicians working there, right? As we get those robotic automation, edge AI, these jobs are going to be able to come to America. And that is what is being built here. And those are going to be tens of thousands, going to hundreds of thousands, going to ultimately 5 million American jobs.
So ultimately, yes, in the short term, there could be a lot of transition pain. What can the administration do to ease the pain of that transition?
I think we're going to train. We need to train people for these jobs. I mean, the jobs are coming, the opportunities there. The productivity for us is so good. Remember, China's got the 1.4 billion people. India's got the 1.4 billion people. We have our 340 million people. Our 340 million people are smart. They are the entrepreneurs of the world. They are the inventors. They are the powerful people. We need to be smarter. We need to be more technologically advanced. We're going to use the AI tools to bring back manufacturing to America, and that is going to employ so many people in America and make them so much more productive that it is Americans who are going to win. When we win the AI race, it is Americans who are going to win.
How specifically mapped out is this workforce transition plan? Where, when, who runs it, who pays, how many workers can you help?
So our objective is 5 million workers because they're going to be needed to build and operate these factories that are coming. You can't build more than 10 trillion of factories you've got to have the workforce. Where are you going to get that workforce? You're going to get it from vocational schools. You're going to get it from community colleges. You're going to get it from universities. Donald Trump negotiating with Harvard right? Remember this $500 million? He's negotiating with Harvard that they spend that $500 million and build Harvard vocational school training. I mean, think of it, he's not trying to get the money for the U.S. government. He's trying to get the really smart people at Harvard to turn their attention to training the American workforce. And then we're going to extend that model across the United States. 5 million jobs, we need to train them, but it's going to be high schools back again, vocational schools, community colleges, local colleges and universities. Train these people for the great jobs. Remember, starting technical jobs at these factories, 75 grand. No college education needed, 6 months of training, 75 grand. Up from there into the multi-hundreds of thousands of dollars. This is why Donald Trump knows he can deliver the golden age.
Are there any points that the AI doomers, the doomsayers, make that you agree with or think are worthy of considering?
Oh, I am very much afraid that our adversaries will win the AI race and have, if they get there before us, right? I can't imagine, it's a dark day indeed if our adversaries get the lead here.
The New Yorker described your late night chats with the president often at 1 a.m. Really?
He can call me when he wants. I don't really go to sleep between maybe 1:30ish. So he knows if he calls me, he jokes, he says, if I call anybody else this late, first thing I hear is the phone bouncing on the floor, and then they go, hello. He goes, when I call you, you say, hey, what's up? And when we talk that late at night, we just chat, okay? There's no objective. We're not like deep into something. We're just talking about the day, talking about tomorrow, talking about golf, talking about sports. We're just having a nice conversation amongst friends.
And sometimes he's got Fox on, you've got Fox on?
Oh yeah, we're watching TV, we're watching golf together, we're watching stuff, sure.
What's
all
that?
the time.
What's that like?
It's kind of fun. He goes, you see that shot? I'm like, oh man, we're just friends talking, right? And we do it all the time. And it's really nice.
This is 1 a.m?
12, 1, whenever he wants to call. But I'll text him, are you awake? And then 20 minutes later he calls me.
You up?
Exactly. No, he doesn't say you up, because I say, hey, how are you? I'm awake. I don't go to bed before 1:30 in the morning. So he knows I don't go to bed between 1.
And when does he go to bed?
I think later than 2.
Secretary Lutnick, thank you for welcoming the Axios Show into your lair.
I had fun. It was fun to do it together.